What's up, guys? Let me make sure this thing is live. So I've been putting off creating a audio version for my ebook for forever. So I figured the best way to keep myself accountable would be to just live stream it and go and just do it. So this is me up late doing the stuff that I do because I love doing this. And so I'm going to read you guys a story, and that story is Tech Flips to Profit. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to create my audiobook live with visual and commentary. So let's roll. Tech Flips to Profit by Chris Schroeder. Tap into an industry that will keep paying you for years and years to come. Here is the introduction, the foundations, advertising, paid advertising, all of this stuff that you guys can see live. This is how it works. This is a live thing of my book. Starting off with the preface. My name is Chris Schroeder. This book is written from my perspective and personal experience. The contents of this book contain knowledge that I've learned over the 6+ years reselling and in collaboration with mentors that I've had along the way. In 2016 and 2017, I had a major problem going on in my life. I was stuck in my serving job. I was overweight and probably a little depressed as well. Reselling phones, electronics, and other items literally set me free from my 9-to-5 grind. I'm writing this to share the knowledge I have learned over the past few years in hopes that you will take this knowledge and use it to set yourself free as well. A little bit about myself. I've coached over 400 resellers at this point, business owners, and repair shops. Here is a recent photo of me breaking down my reselling method in front of the repair shop owners in 2022, and I recently just did this in 2023 as well. This is a live photo of me at that. I was also the client success director for David Kosciuszko, who is most likely the reason phone flipping is even a concept. He brought it to light. I was a student and still am. Here's a photo of David's group that I helped manage and grow alongside him. I also helped his students win large when it came to reselling phones and electronics because I was able to instill my marketing strategies every single week in my own class that he graciously let me use or have, I guess. I was mentored by the very best in the business. Here's an actual photo of me and David in his hometown of Warwick, Rhode Island. And this was me in front of his store. I actually got to teach a class at this store as well. But he isn't the only one who helped me get to this point. I also want to recognize a couple of people that have truly helped me along the way and that insanely accelerated my growth over the past couple of years. These are people that you, whoever's watching this or listening to this, want to add to your friends list, whether on Facebook or wherever. Number one, Matt Senka, the former owner of Buyback Hub, for teaching me millionaire money principles that have allowed me to manage my finances, create wealth, and use it effectively. To Joshua Rico for helping me fix my credit in record time and showing me the power that I can hold when I have good credit. To Felton Richards, who is a stud in his own right, owner of the NYC Phone Buyer, one of the direct buyers for resellers in the States. Hayden Howard, owner of Trade-In Tech, for helping me realize my own potential to really bring knowledge to a small niche and create a massive impact. And then finally to Landon Stewart, Justin Poulet, Chris Stapleton, and Jaden Easton with Clients and Community for showing me how to deliver information in a way that is an incredible experience for every customer that touches my products. The chapters ahead of you are meant to be taken seriously. You will learn the reason why we do things, but then you will also learn how to do them. And that information is meant to be implemented. I want to say that again for everybody who is listening or watching. The information that I'm showing you here is meant to be implemented. If you don't implement anything, then I don't know how to help you. As you read through the material, you may get confused. Read over that part again. Many times I hear people say, I'm going to read over the material twice and then implement. Don't do that. Okay? That is nearly a guarantee that you will not start. Why? Because I hear it all the time. The people that have the most success with this book, programs, whatever you name it, are the ones that implement it as they read it or watch it, right? To be honest, it doesn't take very long to implement the steps I give you anyway. I want to see you win in a huge way. In the words of Top Gun Maverick and Tom Cruise, don't think, just do. Introduction. How to read this book. This book exists for 2 reasons. Number 1, actually, there's 3 reasons. I made a typo. Reason number 1, so that you will eventually hire me and my team to help you implement everything inside and help you truly excel with reselling electronics. Reason number 2, to get your results in advance so that you'll actually want to do number 1 as quickly as possible. And number 3, I want you to get results fast. Hire me to help you grow this, and then I want you to level up and absolutely crush it in another industry or business of your own. As you'll soon find out, I'm going to be fully transparent, honest, and blunt with you through the pages of this book. My mentors taught me that if I want people to believe that I can help them, then I need to actually help them. And I want to help you. To do that, I've structured this book as follows. First, I want to get an honest picture of where your business is today. That way I can give you a specific guidance and advice through this book based on your needs right now. You'll be completing several self-help assessments that will help you understand how to best proceed based on my experience. After that, I'll make the case for why starting an electronics reselling business can be one of the best and most important decisions you could ever make to help you achieve all of your future goals and help you end some of the struggles you have with starting a business that actually works. Along with all the good stuff, we'll take a look at why you might not want to start an electronics reselling business. After that, I will spend some time focusing on going over the simple process of growing a reselling business in our unique way, the Recelerator way, and that will help you fit around your own life without impacting it in a tremendous way. The goal here is to build this business around your life, not build your life around business. Otherwise, you just create your own job, and nobody wants that. Finally, I will come full circle and discuss about the way that we can help you scale your business using our accelerator method, which is actually now called the Recelerator method. It might sound like a lot, but really the entirety of this book can be summed up in the following points. Point number 1, the electronics reselling business is one of the best sources of income on the planet simply because everyone you meet is a potential client now or in the future. Point number 2, the more people you come into contact with and buy items from, the more money you will make then and in the future as the industry grows and expands with ever-increasing demand. Point number 3, this model is the best method to use as a stepping stone to help you achieve what you want most in life. If you want time freedom, this business can give it. If you want cash flow, this business can give it. If you want flexibility, this is one of the best models to create it. This method you are about to discover has radically transformed my life for the better, with benefits far beyond the financial. I hope you'll be able to make the connection for yourself as well. Above all, my sincere hope is that you learn more than just how to implement this method contained in these pages. I have included bits of advice and lessons I have learned from years on the front lines of this industry and entrepreneurship as a whole. I have made all the mistakes, and I am here to tell the tales. Yes, this is a reselling book, but it's really a book about designing a business that actually works, a business that brings joy, financial rewards, and even peace. It's a great privilege to share what I know with you. I hope it inspires you to grow and improve your business and yourself, along with the lives of many others in the process. If you read this book and decide you'd like help implementing its strategies as quick as possible, please apply for and book a call with my team. You can do that here, or you can reach out to us. Helping people like you start and grow a wildly profitable electronics reselling business is exactly what me and my team do day in and day out. We're here to help to your success. Chris Roeder. Reality check. This part of the book is very important. You'll learn powerful new concepts and ideas that will dictate how you think about reselling electronics and other items. But you will also be learning how to implement them throughout the rest of this book. Without understanding the systems and processes that I explain here, one of 2 things will happen, or both. You'll either build a business that is not sustainable and be forced to start over again at some point, or you'll leave a huge amount of money on the table by missing out on crucial parts of the business. The devil is always in the details, so it's important to consider every word that I put into this book and implement everything that I say. It is ultimately the things that you don't know that will crush you. That's why the foundations area is critical for you to get results. The ideas in this book are part of an overall process that you will need to implement. So grab a pen and paper, open your computer, and let's dig into the 30,000 foot overview that is Tech Flips to Profit. Now, allow me to paint a picture of how things can look 6 to 12 months from now for someone who embarks on this journey of reselling phones and electronics. So I got a few client case studies here. Number one, we have Jared. This is when he hit $5,500 in net profit. That is net profit. That is not sales. And I do want to point out that Jared has now actually gone on to hit over $10,000 in profit since I wrote this. So Jared hits $5,500 in net profit in 6 months flat. Jared was a college student majoring in chemical engineering, one of the hardest professions to get a major in. He was flipping couches at the time to help him get through college with some sort of cash. Jared's problems: he can only get so many couches in a day, need a truck and storage space, wasn't enough money to work for the work involved. Like many students, Jared was a hard worker, but flipping couches wasn't making him enough money, was too slow, and didn't work very effectively for him going to college. The solution: Jared locked arms with me and my team after being able to successfully implement some of the strategies outlined in this book. He made $1,100 in profit in his very first month with just the strategies I'm going to give you in this book. He completely abandoned flipping couches and was able to buy, sell, and ship higher priced items daily, which allowed him to grow his business much faster. Jared expanded from just phones to game consoles, and that ended up becoming nearly half of his profit every month. Jared also listened to every word that my head coach Matt and I spoke on our weekly calls. This win isn't due to me or my team. It's 100% Jared's win. We just help provide the information for him to win incredibly fast. This is a photo of him. Some of you might actually recognize Jared. He actually works on my team now and is a great, he's a great guy. Case study number 2. Sean goes from not believing in ads to $11,000 in sales with over $3,000 in profit. And this was in 1 month, to be clear. Sean already had a reselling business, but he had been trying to get it off the ground for nearly an entire year. He did not believe ads worked for him. Here were Sean's problems. He didn't believe ads worked for buying items. He was afraid he would spend money and not get a return. He was skeptical about the process of growing his business. Like many future resellers who come into our world, Sean was incredibly skeptical of paid ads. He has every right to be. There are free ads that can be used to generate leads, right? What is the need for paid ads? Well, the problem with free ads is that they are inconsistent. They do not provide a level of certainty that businesses need to grow. Paid ads, on the other hand, allow us this certainty. The solution: we started Sean's ads at a minimal $5 a day. He started getting leads coming in daily. Not a lot, but it was enough for Sean to justify that ads worked, and they brought customers directly in contact with him. We start most people off at $5 a day so they can see the process actually works, and then we graduate them up the ladder and move them to $10 and then $15 and then eventually $30 a day and then more. Experienced phone flipper does $9,000 in net profit working less hours. Kayla has been killing it with flipping phones for years in Canada. She was doing reach outs all day, every day, working her butt off to get phones every single day. Kayla's problems: she was doing all outbound, reaching out on marketplaces like Facebook, OfferUp, you name it. She wasn't doing ads at all, and she was constantly running around town to pick up devices. Like many resellers who start out, she started out by hitting people up on marketplaces to get devices. It works, but it's truly a numbers game, and you have to get used to the word no because you are going to hear it a lot. So the solutions: we started Kayla off at $5 a day on Facebook ads, and she started getting leads in literally the same day. We then bumped it to $15 a day, and she was having trouble keeping up, so we kept it there for a couple of months. About a month later, we started her on Google Ads. Ever since that point, her business has been almost entirely inbound leads. Inbound meaning people are clicking on her ad and asking to sell their phone. This was a major shift for Kayla, but it was a big one. It was a huge one for her. So if you are already somewhat experienced in this model, it can also work very well for you as well. And to this day, actually, Kayla is now working on learning how to flip houses, funny enough. So, and that was all because she was able to build a capital through flipping electronics. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee here, and then I will continue. Chapter 1, a rapidly growing industry. Here's one thing I think you need to know. The industry that this book is written about is growing at an exponential rate every single year, and there's no sign of it shutting down anytime soon. So I just saw this on Google. The global smartphone industry market size is approximately $409 billion by annual revenue. About 1.38 billion smartphone units were sold in 2020, and the market shows no sign of dying down anytime soon. This is important to note, and I want you to understand that what this means for the industry. 2020 was the year of COVID-19 pandemic, yet smartphones and electronics kept growing faster than ever. Do you know what this means? That means this market is quite literally depression and recession proof. That is something very important to note because this industry has no signs of dying anytime soon and will probably go on for years and years to come. And that means the longer that you're in the business, the better it's going to get. One of the greatest things about the electronics flipping industry is that we aren't even creating the product. There is something there that is incredibly powerful as well, because it takes out our need to create, which is where most of the money is spent anyway. In the reselling space, we are allowed to buy, own, and sell the property that we buy from these companies that create whatever we want. Other people get to do this as well, which is where we come in. Everybody out there at some point in their life needs to sell things. Since everybody has a smartphone and other electronics at some point in their life, they're going to need to sell a few of those items. If you run a service-based business reselling phones and electronics, this is where you can come in and grab a piece of the pie. The great thing about the electronics flipping industry is that almost everybody is a customer. Actually, everybody is a customer. Do you remember the last time you met somebody who didn't have a phone or some type of electronics inside their home? Because I sure don't. If you don't have some of those things, you're actually labeled as weird nowadays. So in an industry where literally everybody is a customer, how can you lose? I don't believe you can, unless you don't try. Here are some cold hard statistics that should get your mouth watering as you start to understand the industry and how much money you can make. The annual global revenue of smartphone industry sits at approximately $409.1 billion. China holds the largest section of the global smartphone market, generating more than $130 billion in sales each year. The United States is the second largest segment of the global smartphone market, generating approximately $55.6 billion in annual revenue. More than 1.5 billion smartphones are sold around the world every year. In 2019, over 1.5 billion smartphones were sold and distributed worldwide, as reported by Statistica, whatever that is. That same year, more than 40% of people in the world had access to a smartphone. The global smartphone industry is expanding at a compound annual growth rate of 16.4%. Compound annual growth of 16.4%. That is incredible. The international smartphone industry is growing at a CAGR of 16.4%. In 2018, the market was valued at $520.3 billion. Now, current projections predict that the industry will reach a very large number by 2022. An estimated 96% of people aged 18 to 29 own a smartphone in the United States, compared to 61% of people over 65 years old. 85% of both white and Hispanic people and 83% of black people own a smartphone in the United States. In the United States, 85% of both men and women own a smartphone, and approximately 98% of women and 97% of men own a smartphone. Individuals with higher annual incomes are more likely to own a smartphone. So these are all stats that you can read if you want by pausing this video. I'm not going to read over these anymore. Anyway, these stats are wild and should show you the absolute need for smartphones, and it doesn't really take into account the other types of electronics that we will be talking about at a later point. So let's move on to the part where we talk about grabbing a piece of the pie. Chapter 2, grabbing a piece of the pie. So now that we have gone over what the industry looks like as a whole, what people need, and how smartphones and electronics have a massive impact on our overall life and lifestyles, it's time to talk about how you can get a piece of the pie. One thing I want you to know about this pie is that it's huge. No one person or company could buy up or control a certain aspect of the market. Apple, Samsung, and the other companies like that don't usually buy back their own devices as often as you think. This allows for people just like you and me, who are regular everyday people, to come in and buy used, cracked, damaged items that we can resell for a profit. Before we go any further, I want you to do a quick little exercise so that you can see how big of a piece of the pie you can get. I want you to type in the name of your city into Google and look up the population of your city. By doing this, you will get a pretty good idea of how many smartphones are in your area. Let's take 200,000 as an example. This means that there are at minimum about 200,000 phones in your area at any given time. That's a pretty good amount. Even if you could get 0.1% of the market in your area, that is $600,000 worth of devices if we price every device around an average of $300 each. Now, who's got a phone that's worth $300 these days? Not me. Everybody's phone is worth more. Out of those 200,000, there are going to be some people who have cracked phones, damaged phones, or phones that just no longer work. And that's where you come in. You can offer cash for these devices that people either no longer want or they just want money for. I hope that by now you are seeing some opportunity in this industry for yourself. You don't have to be a whale in the industry to make six figures. You just have to be willing to apply the knowledge in this book and do the work. What's crazy is I haven't even gotten into the other types of electronics that are out there. The typical person has 10 different types of electronics in their home at any given time. So I don't want you to only limit yourself by thinking about smartphones. There are many other types of electronics out there. MacBooks, smartwatches, cameras, game consoles, GPSs, satellite phones, and literally subcategories of all of those items. Here's a market where you can literally pop in and grab your piece of the pie. Chapter 3, Market Proof. One thing that I absolutely love about flipping phones and electronics and reselling industry in general is how resistant it is to recessions, depressions, and even COVID-19 pandemic lockdowns. I still remember whenever I was running my marketing agency alongside my reselling business back in 2020, I lost 15 clients in 1 week in my marketing agency. And the only way that I was able to provide food and everything else for my family was through reselling. That business never shut down. It actually picked up. My items were still selling on eBay, just like they had always done. People were still buying used and damaged and broken electronics. Now, did it slow down a bit online at first? Absolutely. But eventually it picked back up and it was consistent as it always has been. One thing I want you guys to know about reselling is that it has been around for thousands of years. I mean, if you look at the basis of most businesses, almost all of them are reselling for a profit. What we are doing in this business is nothing new and has been around for a very long time. The only thing that has changed is the type of items that we are buying and reselling. And that's really the only difference. I mean, if you were to take away phones and electronics tomorrow, I would just find something else to sell online. If you were to take away the internet, where I primarily sell things on eBay, Swappa, and Mercari, and places like that, I would just sell things locally and do the exact same process over and over again. It's just through a different medium. In a sense, this business is market proof. It can thrive in nearly every type of market that there is. And most of the time in a down market, it actually thrives. For example, as I am writing this, the US economy is in a recession and reselling is on the rise because more and more people are selling their things and more people are buying used things rather than new things. Welcome to a market-proof business model. You're going to love this. Let's go. Chapter 4, Simple Business. Here's the deal. This business is incredibly simple. What do I mean by that? All we are doing in this business is buying things at a lower price and then reselling them for a higher price. We are basically a middleman between people who do business with electronics. This business is incredibly simple at its most basic level, and it should always be seen that way. You don't want to overthink it, overanalyze it, or anything like that, because if you do, it gets complicated. Once again, don't think, just do. At the end of the day, here's what we're doing. We're doing three things. We are posting ads to get people to see us. We are then communicating with people and trying to find a solution to their problem being that they need money. Then we are selling the items to somebody else so they can also make a profit. It's a simple business model. Many people overthink it. Don't do that. Instead, take action. Chapter 5, Competition. One of the things I hear a lot from new people in the industry and even from some of my own students is there's a lot of competition in my area. How can I run a successful business when all these other people are doing the same things? Have you ever noticed how many different types of grocery stores there are? I mean, we have Walmart, Target, in Texas, we have HEB, and many others that all provide the exact same products or services. All of those businesses do well despite the fact that there is high levels of competition in the area. Have you ever noticed that Starbucks is on almost every street corner in a city? Or what about McDonald's? Doesn't it seem like they're creating competition against themselves? The truth is that there are many more people than businesses, and that's the key. Like we talked about in the earlier chapters, there are a crazy amount of smartphones and electronics. Even if your area does have some competitors, it's not that big of a deal because they can't max out the market and they can't win every single customer. It is literally impossible. So you don't really have that much competition if you think about it. You may lose a couple of deals to some other people, and that's totally fine. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some. But as long as you keep customers coming in, which I will show you how to do in the coming chapters, you will not have a problem profiting in this type of business model because there is money to be made for everyone. In my own personal opinion, competition isn't even a word. If you think you have competition, then you do. But if you look at it as if you are everybody else's competition, that'll change everything. You don't have competition. They have competition. Take the knowledge in the next few chapters so that you can apply this type of mindset to your business and go be really successful with your flipping business. Continue on and get ready to implement. Bonus content. Listen to this episode of the Marketing Reseller Podcast on why competition doesn't exist. That's it for tonight.